pray that God will bless you in everything that you do. I pray that you will grow intellectually so that you can understand the problems of the world and where you fit into in that world picture.
Sun vibrates, earth revolves, how can I rise? If I perceive through a calcified third eye, Merkaba's looking like paper mache today, and words of wisdom from ancestors are now cliche, blowing like dust away, or metal rust away, doing wrong unto others and got enough to say. We shackled our slaves, now we wear cuffs today. Wanna make your wife a dyke, you gon' trust the gay. I am sheep punchlines, may Douglas bust the sway. Knitted times if crochet or custom made, RBG or RG, it's still MST. Getting guards off riddling and pills stamped with E. I go, I made. Youths chant with me on the front lines, and I got no grant with me. All diamonds are bloody, rapping blood clot dummy. Thinking that's real Imhotep playing a movie mummy. Give up a car doll and call it an Oscar, calling me grouch when I drop the truth on ya. Use hip-hop to wake those you call young goats at risk, cause they gun-toed and inhale gun smoke. Mufti shoot, nah, get a neck thumb poke. Trying to order me on the 9 to 5 like a slave boat. Master gets nailed to walls like plaster or gyprock. Illegal tackle in battle or catch a hip block.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. That's how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
You're scared to say don't touch my ass, you b-boy cowards. Try that with me, ball in your face like 48 hours. Bloody your nose. Maybe bloody your clothes, kick Satan's ass in Eden's garden and bloody your rose, bloody your spit. I'm just like bronchitis severe, Hex Alpha Omega. I'll make blood of your tears, not on the Mike Tyson style, but I'll bloody your ears. Verbal shotgun blast you and your fam, bloody your peers. Some Pan-Africans ask why they bloody the feds. I say trail of tears is when they bloodied my fez. Without inspection, I see fiction correction. Too much diction and not enough soul reflection. Agents causing confusion from misconceptions. Distractions make lunch drops like turns missed on sessions. 5 for possessions. I burn up your Wessons. Smith cashing in the bonds, quick to live off pensions. Live off our tensions. I got to mention, give Moor's European names and live off our inventions. Saying I'm black to cash in on bond investments. Saying I'm a Moor, you giving me psycho assessments.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. That's how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
Like lipo, hybrids getting under my skin. Boot stomp them like an insect, but not under Tim's. I'm into tinted windows, but not into rims. Pilgrim stole my fez and just added a brim. Stole the tassel, convince you that's a degree. Thinking it's smart with 1 out of 360. Thinking you're hot, but run for nursery and curse me. Cause I bun your fried chicken and your beef jerky. Bun out your pork rinds, discharge court fines. Bond less, send a letter, make them acquiesce. Bun the racket, racketeers with muskets modernized. Most lost their first and use modern eyes. Using words that makes language modified. Children's aid stealing children, make them traumatized. Homos are doing promos and advertise to the lesbians solo with gay chat lines. MySpace is really their space. Facebook is bait. Locks and pics but bald-headed, proving you're fake. Saying they're for love, but just want to debate their unintelligence and their lack of knowledge intake.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been...
Islam Moors. Peace and love to all Moors. I knew that they weren't going to tell you anything, so I figured we might as well tell you, since they're not going to tell you, play games with you.
colloquially known as May Long Weekend, May 2-4, and even Firecracker Day. I'm talking, of course, about Victoria Day. Did you know that Canada is the only country in the world that celebrates Victoria Day? On the last Monday before or on the 24th of May, Canadians across the country celebrate our sovereign's birthday. Even though the current monarch, Elizabeth...
Right. So, it's known as May 2-4, but it's the 18th, but they're celebrating the birthday of the monarch who wasn't even born in May. So how are they celebrating the monarch? Hold on a second. How are they celebrating the monarch birthday when the birthday is not today? You celebrate your birthday on some different day? You don't, right? You celebrate your birthday on the day that you came out your mom. Alright. So they just like what's going on here? Okay, well let's see.
Even though the current monarch, Elizabeth II, was born on April 21st, 1926. The monarch's birthday has been celebrated here since before Canada was even formed.
What? Before Canada was formed, they were celebrating the Queen's birthday. So this is not a Canadian thing then. Because if this was happening before Canada was formed, obviously celebrating this is not some Canadian thing. If they were doing it before there was even a Canada. But you know, we're the ones that don't know what we're talking about. All the black guys and whoever else out there claiming that they're teaching you something, they know what they're talking about. But we don't know.
First legislation regarding the event was introduced and passed in 1845 by the Parliament of the Province of Canada. That year marked Queen Victoria's 35th birthday.
Yeah? Parliament of what? Province of what? If Canada's a province, then what's it a province of? It can't be Canada can't be a province of Canada.
And it was noted that about 5,000 people gathered in front of Government House to cheer for the Queen. After Queen Victoria's death in 1901, Britain proclaimed May 24th as Empire Day. But here in Canada, an act was passed by...
What day is it today? Isn't it 18th today? Isn't it 18th today? If it's the 18th today, why are they playing games?
by Parliament, establishing a holiday under the name Victoria Day. Canadian cities used to mark the occasion with everything from gun salutes, picnics, and fireworks. The reigning monarch has visited Canada twice for his or her official birthday. In 1939, King George VI attracted thousands as he spent Victoria Day on Parliament Hill, part of a coast-to-coast tour of Canada. Queen Elizabeth II was in Canada in 2005, also on Victoria Day, to celebrate the centennial of Saskatchewan and Alberta's entry to Confederation. So how do Canadians celebrate the holiday today? According to official protocol, the Union Jack is flown from sunrise to sunset on all federal buildings, but only when there are 2 flagpoles available.
Huh? So, on the Queen's birthday, you're gonna fly the flag from not over here in honor of the Queen. Okay, cool. So that would mean that the British monarchy has to find its way over here. Has to find its way over here. British monarchy has to find its way over here in order to be able to fly that flag over here, claiming that this country is sovereign. Now, if they're so sovereign, how come someone... Now, wait a minute. If they have sovereignty, why do they have to come over here and murder people and kill wildlife and water and air? How come? Why? That's not how a sovereign's supposed to act. A sovereign's not supposed to be a pillager. A sovereign's not supposed to be a pillager. A colonizer, that's not the activity of a sovereign. So if they say that they're a colony, then they're a colony, then they're colonists. If they're colonists, that means they're foreigners. And if they're foreigners, why are you celebrating these people's birthday? They're a foreigner. They give you honors on your birthday? So how come you giving them honors on theirs and all that? You partying for them? How come they're not bringing your attention to Queen Charlotte? The same lady who you celebrating her birthday, her grandma's family are dark-skinned people. That's not why you're celebrating, though. You're celebrating for some colonial BS. You're not celebrating because your foremothers and forefathers taught these people. There has been some speculation. Oh, first of all, the city of Charlotte, North Carolina, was named after Queen Charlotte. There has been some speculation that although Queen Charlotte was German, she was directly descended from a black branch of the Portuguese royal line. It seems that King Alfonso III of Portugal and his mistress, a Mooress named Madrangana, had an offspring named Margarita de Castro e Souza. The historian Mario de Valdez Cocom interpreted the term Moor as black, but within the context of the Iberian Peninsula of the 13th century, Moor could have also referred to an Arab. If this story is true, it's fascinating to see the significance of this one drop of black blood in determining Queen Charlotte's race, since by the 18th century it would certainly have been quite diluted. Now, they didn't just say dilute the bloodline. They went through and even changed pictures of her to look more European, because they don't want you to know about how deep your bloodline is and how you have claim to everything. I don't care what they're claiming, but you can't make the claim under a fraud, which is why when they talk about diluting, which is why in this same article they're going to tell you black branch of Portuguese family and all that stuff, but she's a Mooress. How's her mom a Mooress and she's black? And how's Moor mean black if Moor comes from Moroccan or Mauritanian, according to them? Where does this black thing coming in from? So if Queen Victoria lady, who they're celebrating stuff, her ancestry are Moors, and they're claiming that, and they're ruling the world. Because remember, the Pope, he also has Mooress, Madonna, and child. People are playing games with you, and they'll keep playing games with you until you come to your senses. And unfortunately, certain activity that we want to do as a people are not going to manifest because our people want to play that they don't know who they are. They still don't know who they are, right? They still don't know. You still don't know what's going on, right? U.S. doctors sold deadly germs to South African group in the 80s to kill niggers. You think vaccines is some European thing going on? You still think that you're not number one threat to the system? Everything's cool because you got your 5 Bentleys and you're on the Forbes list. Everything's cool? You really think everything's cool? How's everything cool? You're complaining, telling people vote and all that stuff. You got finance. You're telling people stuff is bad, which obviously means stuff's bad for you too. You must be called nigger too. There must be some stuff going on in those higher levels that could equate to racism. For these people to be talking about they're going to be on football field kneeling for people and all that type of stuff because we feel the pain of the people and all that. Obviously you're getting some of that nigger shit. And instead of forget this, throw down the helmet and just leave these people's league or whatever, you're going to stay there playing around. Any league. You could have your own, but you don't want your own. You want these people who colonized you all up in your stuff all the time. It's a regular thing. Regular to the point where they set up their own think tank to infiltrate your stuff to study you. And you think you're not the threat to something. That's what you think. You don't realize that South African is a fiction. So that's why Doctor was able to sell the germs to them. The Afrikaans. What are you talking about? Same stuff with over here. Same theme. The only problem over there is that you have more people that look like them than Europeans. You have more connection to behind the people who say they rule stuff, because it's not only them that rules things. There's tribal leaders who own acres, hundreds of acres, that they're just telling Asiatics, hey, yeah, just come to Africa and talk to that guy. He'll give you your stuff for $2. 200 acres. But, you know, that's over there. I'm not from over there. I'm from over here. You ain't going over there for no freedom and you know, beachfront and all that stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful. But in my heart, just like stick-up kids, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm home. I'm not from anywhere else. And I'm going to go somewhere else just because I can. No. This is where I'm home at. And there's some funny stuff going on home that needs to get checked. That ain't nobody checking because everybody's playing these games with where the questions were coming from that we'll deal with in a second. Right? But Queen Lady, ancestors are us, dark-skinned people. That's all it is. So our position has to be, well, if we have zero power right now, and we've had no power, and then the only time we had power, when we were called a certain thing, and after they stopped calling us that thing, now we have no power. 1 and 1 should probably equal 2, probably. If it's not, we might have issues. Because this is really not rocket science. Right? They already showed you. Moor's already showed you that people talk BS and whether Moor's, how you gonna defend whatever you got and all that. What do you mean? There's Moors who are military. You think they have the info from the military and they're not using it with Moors? Why wouldn't they? Noble Ali talked about that. Why do you think they have tanks at the temple in Noble Ali's time? Why is a tank at the Moor Science Temple? Because Moors were in the military. Now what were they doing? They were taking their little whatever they know how to do, and then they were doing it for the nation. The carpenter guy was taking his little stuff that he could do, and he was doing it for the nation. The guy who knew Kung Fu, he was taking whatever he could do it for the nation. The guy who was in politics and he wanted to be politician or whatever like that, he was doing it for the nation. He was doing it for himself to get some clout, look good, get in the paper, take picture with Trump and all this BS. They're doing it for the nation. Right? Now the reason why you can't just ignore them and study the whatever and build our own thing, because they're in the seat of what we're supposed to be building. Remember, this is about estate. Everything on the estate has to do with the Aboriginal and Indigenous people, if it's on the estate. I don't care who has permit and who set up this and who whatever. Are they a foreigner? If they're a foreigner, then your stuff is on my estate. So if your stuff is on my estate, either you're paying rent because your stuff's on the estate, or leave the stuff, because you can't take buildings and stuff back to wherever you come from. You can't tear those down, put them in the suitcase and take them back and use them over there. So whatever is here is staying. Now, you know, if our people were where they're supposed to be, right, Zodiac Constitution would be the law, because everybody would be Moors and everybody already know that that's the law. And then all these Europeans would know because it's in the Library of Congress that that's the Constitution for the Moors. Run down everything. How the court's supposed to deal with you, because you don't need no consular court to do that for you. You got Zodiac Constitution to do that for you. It's already in there. You just go read the Zodiac Constitution and tell me, if we give these Europeans this, if they shouldn't be able to say, yeah, you know, that's it. Yeah, okay, I could see that as you guys' constitution. Fine, yeah, you guys do that. It's talking about us not doing crime in there. It's talking about us not being niggers. It's talking about us not being, you know, having to pay them taxes, not being their military. Everything that we're complaining about is in there for us to be free. But nobody know about no Zodiac Constitution. What do they know? They don't even know about CMB, much less Zodiac Constitution. And again, we keep talking this thing about build our own stuff. We already, everything out there is built. That's our stuff. What do you mean build something? I don't know what's wrong with these Moors. Build something. What do you mean build something? That's like the Moors went down to Indiana Ave to go see the building. The Europeans got it now. How come? Because of Europeans? Oh, some Europeans is how these people lost whatever we have. No, it's our own. Want to play games? You know, I've been telling you. Don't tell me nothing about Willie D and all that stuff, because even them people think they don't know. You think don't know? You think Ghetto Boys isn't owed like gazillions of finance or houses or properties or whatever? They own gazillions. You think Bushwick Bill should die broke? as a nobody? That's why I see nobody talking about that stuff. The Swiss Beats talking about all these people who got finance. Put up your finance and let's take care of the foundation of music. Forget just hip hop, music generally. Anybody who's old or whatever like that, R&B singer, whether it's hip hop, whether it's whoever, jazz, tap dancer, whoever, anybody that's Asiatic. All these people who had finance should have been taking care of our own. But no, we don't want to do that. We want to keep giving the Europeans our power. And then we have nothing, then we're complaining. And you know what's messed up? If a guy who has, you know, a good amount in the bank or whatever like that, and he lose a 50 million or something in some stock, whatever, and kill him and his family and kill the dog and everybody. Like, you could recoup. Like, it's not that serious at all. Is that serious? That you got it locked down and you're okay. So when you start talking about why don't we use this and why don't we use that, why don't the Moors do whatever? How about check the track record. That is not something new. Like if you look at Rise of the Moors, and they see guns and oh my gosh, and they start getting into that mindset of where they're not supposed to be in their mindset. But then they're going to complain about where's the military for the Moors. I'm not going to be a Moor because there's no military. We can't defend what we got. What do you mean? How is there not that? There are Moors who they were on the front line for U.S. So they're skilled in their jurisdiction. Whatever, you name it. We know technological Moors. You know Moors that build computers and whatever. We know Moors in those realms that are experts in those realms. Problem is where you at. That's the issue. How such an important and such powerful empire of the Moors fell? It's not fell, it's just been transferred. Because people are playing around. How are you going to acknowledge the British Empire but not acknowledge the Moorish Empire and then complain, where's the Moorish Empire? Right. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Right. Why haven't we gained back our power? Because we want to be fictions. Fictions don't have power. Zero. You don't have anything. I don't care how long you think you deserve something because somebody did something to you for so many hundreds of years and all that stuff. You claiming a fiction? There's no sorry, no apology letter, nothing. And if it is that, they're just doing that to play games with you. Because all you have to do is say that you're Moors. It's not rocket science. That's the last name we fell as. Why would we rise as some other name? We rise as the black guys. You fell as Moors, but you're going to rise as black guys. You're going to rise as Africans? Really? Empire is called Moorish, but you're going to rise as an African empire. Dumbass. They want to know why are people this and why are people that. What do you mean why? Why? Really? Right? What role? Press what government in Canaanland? We're the government in Canaanland. They're a corpse. They call themselves a corpse. We don't call them a corpse. They call themselves a corpse. Their stuff says that they're a corporation of Toronto, a corporation of Mississauga, a corporation of Brampton, the city of the corporation of whatever. Ain't nothing to press them about. It's about stop being black, join the temple, declare your nationality, and let's get some stuff done as Moors. Everybody wants to be the black stuff out here. When they know that you don't get anything under that. You find me some black guys that got something out here worth talking about. Guarantee you they're boule just because they say black and all that. Just because they say black Indian and some tribe and all this. Right? It's not pressing them. They're not the government. They themselves say that the Governor General is Canada's de facto head of state. How is a de facto head of state? How does a de facto head of state have sovereignty? And then I'm going to them as if they are the sovereigns. What? Well, pressing them like they're a government. They're not government. We go to McDonald's, pressing McDonald's about something. Well, I mean, what would make you not send out the proclamations? Like, what would make you, what would make somebody think not putting people on notice has ceased? Because notice, I don't see them. I see them. All I see every day, all day is COVID notices. So they're putting people on notice. Why am I not putting people on notice for? Because what? All I see is COVID. No, you put on the TV right now, COVID notice on there. Go on the bus, COVID notice. Walking on the street, sign, COVID notice. You go there, COVID notice. Go there, COVID notice. Okay, so if they're putting on notice, who am I? I'm not going to put them on notice. I'm just going to sit back and just get their notices. I'm acquiescing to all their notices because I'm not making any claims. I'm just sitting there complaining because I'm a black guy. And then because I'm black, then that energy is following you. So you're living in fear because, you know, if you're black, you're unknown. You don't know what's going on. Only when you turn the TV on, you get some light that it does something. Other than that, it's just black. Sitting there, doing nothing, serving no purpose. Until light comes. It's knowledge. Right? You always want to know why. How come the Moors, right? How come the Moors? How come the Moors lost their stuff? Not the Moors lost anything. How come a Moor? It's always a sellout. There's always this sellout. Always, at all times. Something funny? Look for the sellout. Don't worry about the guy who's abusing his power. He's not the problem. Because he's been a power abuser. It's nothing new. They're a baby. They're the children of society. Why am I worrying about the children over there that all they have is toys around them and they're just throwing toys around the place? Yeah, I might get hit in the head when they throw something. They don't know what they're doing. I might get hit in the head, but they're not the problem. Pick them up, put them in the crib, and you have no issues with them. But crying. Guarantee, give them something that they want. You have no crying. They'll be fine. It's the adults who are playing like they're children, calling themselves black minority and all that, when they're adult. But they're so into their slave mentality that they'll call themselves children and then call their children baby animals. That's how warped we are. Boabdil lowered his head. From his neck he removed the iron key on a gold chain and set it at my mother's feet, a symbolic symbol of defeat. That's what part the boule plays in our sellout. That's how we lost all of our power. And this is why the empire was occupied. Because then nothing fell if they're still dressing up like Moors and pretending to be Moors. Right? So Boabdil, you know when they say, oh yeah, the key to the city. This is where that comes from. The relinquishing of the power to a foreigner. But it's a symbol of defeat when they give the key to the city. That's why they never give the real key. Because somebody was saying that they got a key to every city and those keys didn't open any doors for them. So it's some BS. It's all symbolic. And the symbology is conquering your ass when you're Moors. But you don't want to be Moors. You want to be the conquered guys. You want to be the guy who gave up the key. And now you're mad, complaining about racism when you gave up the key. Don't get mad. Get your key back. And then go do your metaphysical lesson on what the key means metaphysically, so you can know what the hell these people are talking about. When they say stuff and you're thinking that they're... Jeering applause and insults came from the ranks. With an impassive countenance that conveyed both his inviolate disdain and infinite despair, Boabdil allowed the applause to fade before he lifted his practiced plea for tolerance. When he finished, he waited, as did everyone present, all eyes fixed on the queen. My mother stood despite her short stature, slackened skin, and permanently shadowed eyes. Her voice carried across the field imbued the authority of the ruler of Castile. I have heard his plea and accept the Moor's submission with humble grace. Just like that? Just like that off the queen. The queen, yep, we accept the Moor's submission. They didn't mistake call them black guys? They didn't mistake say the Negroes? They didn't mistake say the African Arabs of the Saracen Berber Empire? No, none of that? Oh, it's just straight to the point. The Moors, right? Oh, okay. I have no desire to inflict further suffering on him or his people. Right? On him or his people. So she's not just talking to him. She's talking to all these Moors. Because in their mind, Granada was the final stronghold. Little did they know, 1492, and then they go across the Atlantic, and then they get here and they realize there's stuff over here to conquer too. You thought you saw something in Granada? You didn't see anything in Granada. They didn't see anything till they got over here. Then they realized really what was going on. One guy gave it up. So we're here now taking the position of, yeah, you might have conquered our foremothers and forefathers and all that stuff, but we're here with a sound mind now. We're not Negro, black, colored, and all the stuff that you coined all these people out here when you came here. We know who we are now. We're not the dumb nigger guy that last couple generations that you dealt with, that you thought, hey, we got this. No, you don't got anything. Because even if it's just for us, Moors, who have declared and proclaimed or whatever, we're going to make it hard for you. It's not going to be easy like it is with the niggers. It's not going to be easy. Because we're not taking that position of convert. The people who are taking a position of convert are the mask wearing people. The people who are, when they say, ready for the chip, and the guy's going to put his hand up. Those are the people. It's already in my mind. None of that. They do whatever they're going to do. But I know none of that. Okay, what they offer. You know, and it's only at this point because we've sat here and let them violate for so long. And again, stop looking at the violator. Look around. Look at the people who look just like you, who've been allowing the empire to be conquered, to be colonized, because they want to play Negro, black, colored, African, whatever games, black, Indian, Cherokee tribe games. And these people know that Moors. That's the only way they're giving up the seat. If the Moors, conscious as a why? Because they were being themselves. You know, until our people realize that you're going to have to be yourself. When we look inside your underwear and it says James Johnson, when you look Asiatic, you know your mom didn't, that's not your mom's writing. And that's not your name either. part of the reconstruction of history is put out their own stuff, their narrative. And in putting out their narrative, they get to pick who's the winner, who's the loser, and what everybody's name is going to be. Like one of the Moors we talked about yesterday, right? To stress the point. One of the Moors knew somebody who was a Knights Templar, and they're trying to get him in. And he's telling them about the connection of the Moors to the Templars, and they're like, what? No way. No. They could be playing dumb because they can't believe that he knows, or they could be dumb. The point being, when the Moors come up, everyone except our people know. When the Moors come up, everybody except our people. If you have any questions, throw those in the chat. Don't be shy. We don't bite over here. Islam to all the Moors. Any questions? Don't hold back. Right, so we know that we can get it back. It's going to be on our people. Stop playing games. It's only going to be on them. If they want to be a zombie, you can't. You know what I mean? Just gotta let them. That's their path. Don't get mad. Let them do their thing. Everybody has their own path in this. So, for our fall and to understand why and whatever, the chronology is, you don't have to go past 1492. Start there. When you start there, you'll realize that the work was realized, that it had to be done. People came and did the work. And this stuff was lock, stock, and barrel, ready to get shipped back to Europe. But there's always a Boabdil. In our case, there's many Boabdils. And here we are. So don't get mad. Get knowledge. Don't get mad. Get wise. Find yourself some Moors that's doing some good work, and help them do some good work. And if you're the only Moor wherever you're at, you do some good work there. Because worst come to worst, if you're the only one there and you're doing that good work, at least you'll be working on yourself, which is really what this is about. Know thyself. But always remember, you got two selves, so don't get caught up. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide, anywhere you're at. You already know how it goes. Be safe out there. Peace and love to all. Islam.